get started?
Do you want to start us off with
Yeah.
an opening statement?
Well,
or
first of
we have
all-
questions?
First of all, appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you all very much. We are very excited about this class. You know, the first year that I got to Tulane, I really had basically 2 weeks to recruit. And even though we didn't have much time, we signed some great kids out of that class. P.J. Hall, Darnell Mooney, Darius Bradwell, Lawrence Graham, to name a few guys that have had great careers here at Tulane, helped lead us to a couple back-to-back bowl game opportunities. And we felt like we got a little bit better the next year, and year after, quite a bit better. And this year we really feel like we had an outstanding class. We feel like this has got an opportunity to be the top class in the history of Tulane. We really believe that. We've signed a lot of local kids. We signed guys from 9 different states, but we got 5 from the state of Louisiana, and a bunch of them are from here in NOLA. So we're excited about that. And we signed 18 guys. I'll go over that here in a moment, but we're really, really pumped and excited about this class. Just to go through a few of these guys. First guy, I guess it starts with the letter A, Angelo Anderson from John Curtis High School. He jumped on board early. This guy's kind of been the bell cow of our recruiting class. He talked quite a bit about, staying in his hometown university, and he was offered by a lot of people. And we got to continue to keep winning a bunch of games so that these guys get the accolades that they deserve to get. I think he might have been a 4-star guy. Then he committed to us, and he dropped down a star, didn't play a game or anything. And he was I think, number 12 player in the state, and now I think he's 37 in the state. I don't know what happened. He had led the state in sacks and had an unbelievable year. So, one of the things about recruiting is, number one, everybody thinks they can do it, but most importantly, you got to, number one, have a good personality when you go out and recruit. You got to be a great information gatherer. Here at Tulane, we got to find out more things than probably other schools have to, as far as academic prowess and character and those kind of things, to know that they're going to be a fit on this campus as well. And then you got to be able to really determine whether they can play at this level and can be bona fide Division I players and take us to the next level. That's difficult. And I'm fortunate I got a bunch of guys on my staff that are great evaluators. That's usually the one part that some coaches, even though they coach year-round and that's all they do is coach football, they have a difficult time really evaluating what a true Division I football player is. So we spend 365 days a year recruiting, and Angelo we identified early as a guy that could help take us to the next level. Comes from a fabulous football program, the winningest coach in the United States. I believe he's got 590 some odd wins. That's pretty good, I think, with Coach JT, and he's got some guys there on staff that played here at Tulane, and Angelo never wavered and was excited about the opportunity to come in and get a world-class education and play big-time football in the American Athletic Conference, and then also do it in his hometown. So we're very fortunate to get Angelo here. Brandon Brown from over in Houston, played at Morton Ranch High School. His head coach, Ron Conner, I've known for, 30 years. I've recruited a lot of players from Ron over the years, and we're very excited about getting Brandon into our program. He's a big-time inside defensive lineman, quick as a cat, and you don't really see that with that height-weight ratio that he's got, but he's got tremendous movement, and he's got an opportunity to be a big-time factor in the AAC. Reggie Brown, tight end. His father was actually number 1 draft pick, first-round draft pick coming out of Texas A&M. His mom and dad started this school, Legacy School of Sports Science. It's a really unique high school there in Houston, and it's all about sports and different aspects of sports. As far as you could get into sports broadcasting, you could get into public relations. You can get into even being, as far as sports law is concerned, and Reggie's a great football player, tight end. He's already got the size you're looking for. Saw him at a couple different camps in the summer and really impressed us. And we're pumped about having him as an addition to our tight end pool that we've got here at Tulane. Cornelius Dyson, another local product from down at Kentwood, went over and watched him play basketball the other day. We need to get taller and longer on the perimeter here at Tulane. You know, you come to our games and you see a lot of the teams that we play. You know, they've got guys 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", playing corner, safety, wide receiver, and we haven't had a whole lot of height. And Cornelius gets us that height, along with another couple guys I'll talk about here in a moment. But a great basketball player, and you know, he shows that he can run and jump, and that's also part of the equation when you evaluate guys. You can see raw athletic ability, but he's a legitimate 6'2". He's really a little bit heavier than 185. He's probably 190, 195 pounds, and we think the sky's the limit for Cornelius. Comes from a great program there at Kentwood. When I went and watched him play a basketball game, he's related to about every third person in the gym. You know, his dad is a police officer there. His aunt is the girls' basketball coach, and you know, just knew everybody. I got great reports on him from everybody at the school. Rashad Green, offensive lineman from U High over in Baton Rouge. He had a bunch of Power 5 offers and wanted to stay close to home and wanted the degree that we offer here at Tulane. Outstanding student. You know, he could have gone any place academically in the country, and he's one of those big, thick offensive linemen, and you know, you see a guy who weighs over 300 pounds and you think he's not going to look good. He looks good. We think he's got the opportunity to be a big-time offensive lineman for us here at Tulane. He's played in a great program and overall athlete, and very, very excited to have Rashad join our football program. Kavaris Hall, another big, tall, long defensive back. He had a bunch of offers as well, and we were fortunate to get Kavaris. We think he makes us taller and longer on the back end. He had an injury that he had to fight through and only played a lot of football there at the end of the season, but he's going to be an impact player for us here. Matthew Hightower, we got on him a little bit later. A bigger, taller. We need to get bigger at the linebacker position. We think he's a guy that'll be 230, 240 pounds here in a couple of years. Great measurables. 10'3" standing broad jump. He ran a 4.52 electronic 40-yard dash. You know, again, I love sometimes the times that we get from, you know, maybe different people, and they run a 4.4, and then I get them here and they run a 4.7. I don't know what happens when they travel over here, but when we get legit times from camps and people that I know, we get really excited about that. You know, kind of a neat fact is Matthew's father actually fought Evander Holyfield in boxing, so he's I guess he's a pretty good boxer, wasn't he, Evander Holyfield? So I guess his dad must have been a pretty good boxer. I think he might have won too. So in amateur ranks, he's also a judge in professional boxing, but had him in last weekend. He's going to fit in great here. Really got great reports on him from his high school coaches and all the people that have come in contact with Matthew. Next guy, another's a local product, Justin Ibieta. He knows a lot about Tulane. His sister is on our volleyball team. You know, I see how hard she works, and so I knew that Justin's going to have a great work ethic. His father was a great baseball player here at Tulane. His mother was a fantastic volleyball player down the road, and she also won a state title here just a couple weeks ago. I think her volleyball team at Country Day went 44-2, and she's won quite a few state titles. I've been impressed watching him. He's a big guy, won a state title in basketball last year as a junior. He's an outstanding baseball player, and when I watched him play against a couple of opponents this year, he really did a super job of leading his team. His high school coach is a Tulane graduate, and I think they're all excited about Justin staying here in town and playing for his local college team. So we're super excited about having Justin Ibieta join our football program. Shaquem Lassiter, there's another defensive back that's tall, long. He's played quarterback. He's got some unbelievable measurables as well. Ran a 4.38 at the opening camp with Nike. He has a 40-inch vertical jump. Great option type quarterback, but also showed us enough as a defensive back that we know that he's got a great opportunity to excel in the defensive backfield. Matt Lombardi from St. Joe. He's I think we've got 3 guys who won state titles, and Matt is one of them. He's real. We measured him at 6'7". When they come here on campus, you get an opportunity to measure these guys. He's been as heavy as 290. For a big guy, he's got great feet and length, and you need that on the perimeter. That's something else. We've got to continue to keep improving and getting bigger on the offensive and defensive line. That team he plays for in Philadelphia, St. Joseph's, they play for the state title almost every single year. And so he's played great football. You'd watch him every week, and he'd be playing with against guys that were going all over the country. So we were very fortunate to get Matthew here at Tulane. Jesus Machado played at Miami Central as a junior defensive end. Had a bunch of sacks, and that's one of the powerhouses in the state of Florida. He transferred and played at a private school his senior year, and they won the state 2A state championship and moved to linebacker. He's about 215 pounds now, great range, really physical. We're very fortunate to get him. He had a bunch of offers as well. Reggie Neely, Briarcrest Christian High School. He's plays on their basketball team, which they go around the country and they play nationally. He's, again, another guy that's tall and long, and he's a real 5'11". A lot of guys would list him as 6'1" or 6'2". But he's another guy that gets us a little taller and longer on the back end and was a great receiver. I like defensive backs who play wide receiver, and you get to see him ball judge, high point the ball, win those 50-50 throw-ups that the quarterbacks do on occasion. And he's really a guy that we think can walk in and be able to play a corner for us here at Tulane, but also a great basketball player, as I mentioned before, and plays in a really strong program at Briarcrest Christian. Michael Pratt, they played for the state championship down in Florida. He went to Deerfield Beach, which is a powerhouse year after year. Tough, hard-nosed, competitive guy. Both he and Ibieta can both run with the ball, which is something you're also looking for out of your quarterback. He'll be an early enrollee for us, but had just a super season at Deerfield Beach, and he was kind of the missing piece to the puzzle that they were looking for with a quarterback. They really had great skill guys, offensive linemen, great on defense, and he helped propel them to the next level at Deerfield Beach. So very excited about getting Michael in our program. Joseph Solomon, big offensive lineman from Bishop Chertard in Indianapolis. They won a state title as well. He's got 2 brothers that play Division I football, so his family knows what it's all about. And we, as I said before, we got to get taller and longer on the offensive line, out in the perimeter. The people we play against have got big guys. We got to have big fellas. We think Joseph's going to be a 300-pounder in a couple years and still be able to have great movement. So we're very excited about Joseph. Noah Talinich, I don't want to goof his name up. I probably just did. Played for the state title at Destrehan. His family, I think, has had season tickets to Tulane football for decades. Tulane is his dream school. This is where he wanted to go to school from day one. Last year, when we did our signing day party, Noah was at the event, with his family watching to see who were signed. So he was a pretty easy one to get. This is where he wanted to come and when I offered him a scholarship many months ago, he jumped all over it. And he's a guy that's going to enroll early for us. He was voted the outstanding player in the state championship game, and he even played a little bit of tight end for him as well. Does it say quarterback on their deal?
Yeah.
He's not a quarterback. He didn't play any quarterback for him. But he's a big guy, great movement. We think the sky's the limit for Noah, and very, very excited about him. The Watts brothers, Deuce and Fat. These guys, it's difficult for us to really take a junior college guy. For us to take a junior college guy, he's got to, number one, be a qualifier coming out of high school. And number two, all of his hours have to transfer into Tulane. These might be the only two guys that was the case in the country. So we don't recruit very many guys, and we wade through a lot of JC guys, but normally we get it doesn't happen academically, and then they've got to be bona fide Division I football players. And both these guys are excellent football players. They're going to be early enrollees for us here at Tulane. We're losing a couple of great players in Darnell Mooney and Jalen McCleskey. So we need a couple guys to walk in, and these two guys are going to be able to do it. Deuce, they did not really have a quarterback that could throw the football at Jones Community College this season. They went a little bit more with the quarterback run game, and then Fat got injured early in the year and missed quite a few games. But we were fortunate enough to be able to go over and watch him practice, and we're very, very impressed with both those guys. And we think those two are going to have immediate impact here at Tulane. I'll go ahead and open it up for questions, and I'm going to announce one other guy here after I answer the questions because I got to wait till 11:30.
Do you find it easier just for your recruiting pitch because of what you guys have been able to do the last 2 years to sell to these recruits what you're doing here?
Without question. I know I've mentioned it before. We're disappointed in being 6-6 this year, but we're playing in one of the toughest conferences in the country, and hopefully y'all are out there pushing the American, and you come to games. And one time we were the third-ranked conference in the nation, and our division was the sixth-ranked division in the country. So they do all the different divisions with the SEC and the Big Ten and the Big 12 and et cetera. And so this is big boy football, and I think the high school coaches, the student athletes are starting to understand that, and then we're having success, and they're seeing us play on national TV every single game. Our bowl game is going to be at 10:30 in the morning. It's a little early, which is good for us because we start practice every morning at 8:30. So guys will have a chance to sleep in for that ball game. But it's going to be on ESPN. We'll be the only game on TV on January the 4th. So when we get those opportunities to go out there and play, and you got to play well, I think it really helps you out. So I really feel, and again, you don't know until they get here, and they play for you for a season, and they end their career, how great of a signing class you really have. But I really feel like this is really by far the best one that we've had. And I don't want to slight our other classes, but we beat a lot of other members of the Power Six. I guess I better phrase it right. So a lot of these guys had, Angelo Anderson had 10 to 15 offers, and we're very fortunate. And I mean, the so-called, he had SEC offers, he had a lot of Big 12 offers. He had one Big 10 offer that I know about. So he had a lot of legitimate offers. And same thing with Rashad Green. A couple guys tried to come in and get him at the end. And I called a couple of those guys that were on those staffs. I said, "Are you really offering him, or are you just jacking with the kid?" No, we want him. And so it's we beat a lot of people, and a bunch of these guys stayed with us, throughout the season. We've had some of these guys committed for 6 months, if not longer.
Coach, quarterbacks see in your offense that can run and throw the ball. Is a person like Justin Ivey
sometimes you get a big guy like Justin, you don't think he's got foot quickness. He's got great quickness. He's got great speed. And what we're doing here offensively is we've got a college run game. And in the college run game, the quarterback is going to run the ball occasionally for you. And in the NFL, you don't see that much except that dude in Baltimore, right? You see him do that quite a bit. And there's a few other guys that will do it in the NFL, but not very often. So you got a college run game, and we combine it with an NFL passing attack. When Coach Hall is, installing plays with our quarterbacks, he's got that guy down the road here that we're seeing all the pass concepts that Coach Payton and Drew Brees are doing, and our guys see that's our passing attack, and we look primarily at the Saints, but there's also a few other NFL teams, so we got to have a guy that can do both for us, and if you can only do one, that limits what you can do offensively. So Justin definitely can do both. Guy's going to be a statue back there. We're probably not going to recruit him. We got to have a guy who's got some movement.
When you recruit guys, say like the Watsons, you mentioned, right, you're losing receivers. You assume they're going to be those type of guys you need to come in and play right away.
You bet. When we bring whenever we bring a transfer guy in here, whether it's a JC guy, and we've been able to bring a couple in here, and we scan the nation for them. It's difficult, and I knew that coming in here. That's part of it. That's why you sell the academics. Not, you gotta have more than a pulse to get into Tulane. All right, it's a tough place to get into, but when we bring those guys in, we want guys that are going to be able to play right away. If they're going to come and be a backup, we really wasted our time recruiting them. We made a mistake in the evaluation process. It was big. Him and Hightower, both those two guys at linebacker are big for us, because right now we've got after the bowl game, we're going to have 3 scholarship linebackers on the roster. With Dorian Williams and Marvin Moody and Nick Anderson. So we needed to sign a couple guys, and that'll probably be a position we'll look for here in January as well, to sign in February.
You mentioned Angelo was the bell cow for this, but how much recruiting of these guys did he actually do, or did he play it, or talk, or was he just, because he was so highly regarded that other prospects saw that and was like, hey, you know what, maybe they are trying to,
No, I think he had a lot to do with it. I think here in the city, I think Justin, Noah, all those guys, but they kind of, I'm not a whiz at all this social media, but those guys kind of know how to get in contact with each other. And, they kind of, it's amazing. They'll come here for games, and they all know each other, seem to know each other well, because they keep coming to games, summer camps, and different things like that. We just had our official visits here, a couple of weeks ago. We had it in the second week in December and the third week. So it's a little different than in the old days. They'd visit, then they'd commit, then they'd sign. Now they commit, visit, sign. So it's changed, but certainly, we'd love to sign as many guys as we possibly can from the city of New Orleans and also from the state. But number one, they got to have the academics, and number two, they got to be bona fide Division I players. We're not going to, as I've mentioned before, every year, we're not going to take seconds and thirds. That's not how we're going to get where we want to go. Yeah, he, one of the benefits we had is he came to camp. We saw him at camps. So now you really get to evaluate movement, and you get to put him in drills to help evaluate. And he just, it's like going and watching the basketball game. He's doing some stuff moving around that, that shows you stuff. And he had reliable measurables too. That's something that's important for us. And we just got to get taller and longer and bigger back there. It's it's not to say we're not going to take guys that aren't they might be a little vertically challenged at times, but they got to be special when you get those guys, and so we just got to get a little bit bigger. It's such an advantage for a defensive back to have some length.
It's 4 guys that are going to be coming in early.
Yeah, we got both the Wattses, and then Noah and Michael Pratt will all be coming in early, so they'll be here, the second week of January, be able to go through spring ball, things like that. And there's a bunch of these guys that could have graduated early. I'm a little bit different than some other schools. I think a guy needs an opportunity to savor the high school experience, like Justin, he's a key cog on their basketball team, on their baseball team, and he graduates early. That kind of stiffs those guys a little bit, doesn't it? So I couldn't get a date to my high school prom, so these guys some of these guys can probably get a date and go to their prom and have some memories, correct? So I want them to go ahead and finish high school if that's what they want to do. If they want to come in early, fantastic. Come on, let's go. So I leave it up to the guy. Other people, I know they're trying to get everybody. I don't know if it's true or not. I think it is, but I think one year at Clemson, every kid they signed came in early. So it's to me, I give them the choice how you want to do it.
Coach, it seems like there's
Check that. I'm not positive.
a common theme of winners and athletic multi-sport athletes. Is that something that what's
Yeah.
the benefit? I mean, obviously there's a benefit, but what are you going out of your way to
Yeah, every year when you watch the NFL draft, and I've got a lot of close friends, hey, we got the guy in charge of player personnel out here for the Saints. Terry's a former Tulane football player, but they're looking for multi-sport athletes. They're looking for guys that played a lot of things in high school, and it seems like when they get in the draft, the first rounders, it's some incredible number of guys that were multi-sport athletes in high school. Then you start focusing on it. There's some places where, they redshirt the kids in 6th grade, and they do. I like the fact we got a bunch of dudes here that are 17. We're gonna have a lot of guys that sign today. They're 17 years of age. They're not 18. You get some guys that sign and they're 19. Well, they're close to being tapped out physically. So we like signing those younger guys and multi-sport athletes, and now they start getting sport specific here at Tulane, and I think you can really develop those guys. We talk about recruiting the right guys, and we talk about retaining them. I think that has to do with your culture at your program, and then last but not least, developing them and getting them better. And we take great pride in the fact that we've had a bunch of guys that were here prior to our arrival that were good football players, and I'm not trying to diminish anything at all, but nobody was thinking they were going to play in the NFL, and they're playing the NFL now. And we think we've done a super job of developing these guys. I know I was talking to Coach Hamp about that. We got Rod Teamer down at Brother Martin. He gave an article about, hey, I came in to play with the Los Angeles Chargers, and all the drills were the same. The schemes were the same, kicking game, defensively, and he's having a tremendous career there. Perry told me the same thing. Perry Nickerson from down the road at West Jeff said the same thing when he went to the Jets. He had a big tackle on kickoff coverage the other day. Tanzel Smart, the stuff that Coach Peoples worked with him at here at Tulane are the same drills and things he does with the Rams. So there's a lot of examples. John LeGlue out there at the Saints, he's told us the same thing. So, we feel like we do a good job of developing these guys. And if they're only focused on football, and sometimes, it's like the Cornelius Dyson. He plays football, basketball, baseball, track. He does everything for them. And in football, he played tight end, wide receiver, running back, quarterback, linebacker, safety. Now he's going to just focus on one position and one sport. So we think he's going to have a much better opportunity to elevate his game. All right, we're past 11:30. I can go ahead and add one more. All right, Josh Remitich from over at Holy Cross is signing with us as well, offensive lineman. We're very excited about Josh joining our program. Josh had a bunch of offers, and I got an opportunity to watch him. He's got great technique. Coach LeCompte and his staff have done a tremendous job with Josh, and we think he's I always talk about a bona fide Division I football player, meaning he could play, anywhere in the country. And he turned down some good opportunities to stay at home here at Tulane. So we're very excited about Josh Remitich joining our football program.
So before February, is there any need or specific get that
Yeah.
you're looking for before National Signing Day?
Right now it's kind of you want to be real careful, and you want to sign guys that can play for you and not just take guys just to take them. I'm sure at some point in time there'll be a transfer or two that we may end up getting. So we've got a few more scholarships out there, but we want it to be the right fit, right position, and it could be a high school guy. It's very fluid once you get done with the December signing period. I talked to a few guys. Coach, I want to wait till February, and hey, we're going to keep recruiting guys, but you just don't know what you're going to have. That changes on a daily basis. But we will be adding some guys.
Coach, there's no availability until after Christmas. Is there a possible Christmas present coming from the AD? We know we talked on the conference call about a possible contract extension coming up. Has there been any movement on that? Or
Have you heard anything yet? Or?
He promised one on the conference call, so we hadn't talked to you.
No,
since then,
I feel real good about it. And Troy and I have had some conversations, and I don't know if we're going to put something out there publicly until all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted and all that kind of stuff. But I'm very flattered that he'd do this for me, so I'm excited about it. Anybody else? Thank you all for coming out. Appreciate it. Roll wave.